Hey guys, Tactical Minds here. Welcome back. And today we're going to be discussing a very controversial topic. I'm sure I'll get a lot of hate from some people on this, but we're going to talk about why I hate the Glock and why I personally do not recommend it for first-time buyers. Right now, with everything going on in the world, all the chaos, wars going on, and food shortages and baby food shortages, and everything's just getting crazier by the minute, right? And right now, obviously, the last year with all that going on, there's been a huge rush to the gun store, right? A lot of first-time gun owners, buying guns out there now. And I'm going to tell you why I personally don't recommend you get a Glock for your first weapon. Now, again, I know I'm going to get beat up in the comment section about it. That's okay. That's what it's for, right? A lot of people are going to say, well, lots of people in the military and lots of people in police units, carry Glocks, and, myself in law enforcement carry Glock, right? So a lot of people are going to, sit there and say, whoa, military and police, I mean, how can everybody be wrong? Let me cue you in on a little something you guys don't know, okay? Whenever everybody hears mil spec and all this stuff, you got to realize that police departments and military are these large industries, okay? And they don't necessarily buy what's the best. They buy what they're going to get the best bang for their buck. They buy more than likely what the cheapest is, and is just going to function. So don't always think just because you're mil spec and stuff like that, that means you're getting necessarily the best quality that there's out there. As I'm going to tell you right now, that's just false. But anyway, before we go ahead and get into the video, as always, guys, thank you for my new subscribers. I appreciate it. We're at 904 now, so let's keep it going up. Really appreciate it, guys. Like, comment, like I said, get in the section. Let me know what you guys like. Subscribe, hit that bell for notifications, all that good stuff. All right. So anyway, without further ado, let's go ahead and get into the topic. All right. So I have a couple of different guns here, and not all my handguns, but I'm going to just compare basically another striker fired weapon, which if you're familiar with a Glock is a striker fired weapon, right? And I'm going to compare a hammer fired weapon, which is personally my favorite, but that's just me. You guys don't have to like that, right? So couple things. First, let's go ahead and bring out the Glock. First, let's show you all three pistols are unloaded. Okay, you can go ahead and see there. This is a Glock 22 Gen 5. You can see that is unloaded, right? Here's the HK VP9. You guys have all seen this before. As you can tell, that is completely unloaded. And here is one of my favorites, my Kimber 1911. And as you can tell, that is fully unloaded. Yes, those are custom grips. I love them. But anyway, so let's get into a couple of things about the Glock, why I don't recommend the Glock for a first gun. Like I said, a lot of first-time gun owners out there, going out and buying their first gun. And, everybody hears Glock, Glock's the best, Glock's the best. And yes, Glock has been tried and true for a very long time. I will say it's very reliable. This gun will run dirty. This gun will run wet. I mean, this gun will run. I will say that this gun will run. This gun will shoot what you put through it. Okay, it is a reliable firearm. I'm going to be discussing why I don't think it's the perfect firearm for your first purchase. Okay, and again, this is just my opinions. You guys are entitled to have your own as well, right? Opinions like assholes. We all got them, right? So first of all, I'm going to get this right out the gate. This thing is fucking ugly. Okay, my opinion. It's ugly. It looks like a fucking brick. Okay. I mean, seriously, there's nothing sexy about that. I know everyone's going to say, oh, John Wick. And I'm sorry, that does not look like, that looks like a freaking brick. It's just not a good looking gun. Right now, that being aside, so for, a standard Glock like this, this one happens to be chambered in 40. I'll explain that another time why. But for a standard Glock like this, you're looking around $600-700. Now, Glocks are very customizable. Everybody likes that, right? Glocks are customizable. You can basically buy millions of different parts and make this gun do what you want. But in my personal opinion, for $600-700 to spend on a gun right out the gate, I shouldn't have to put $500-600 extra dollars in this gun to make it run the way, you know, a freaking Lamborghini does. I mean, I just shouldn't. Okay. So I'm going to tell you, for one, first of all, we already covered cosmetics, right? I don't like the cosmetics. Secondly, it's all polymer. Okay. If you're not used to firing guns, if it is your first gun you're owning, I'm going to tell you 9mm. Yes, it does not kick a whole lot, but if you're not used to that, you know, recoil, and if you're not used to, if you don't have the proper hand placement and wrist placement, and if you don't have all the things together to, you know, get better recoil management, this thing is a light, you know, it's a light gun with a high bore axis. I mean, it's gonna kick. Okay, that's one thing. Another thing. Okay, the trigger on this sucks. Now, this is my personal opinion. Okay, this is very spongy. First of all, there's no safety. They call this a trigger safety. I really don't know how that's considered a safety. I mean, you got to be dumb to think that's a safety. But in any event, so the trigger, you know, if you can kind of hear it there, it's very spongy. A lot of slop, not right, like very spongy. And then we get that break, and then let's see where the reset is. Again, it's a spongy reset. You know, I don't like it. We get that break, and then just a spongy reset. I really, you can hear all that slop in there. Just not a fan of it. Okay. Here's another huge thing about the Glock that not a lot of people like to talk about. Okay. There's a reason. And yes, if you do your research, there is a reason why YouTubers have shot themselves with these things. There's a reason why cops have shot themselves with these things, and people who are even trained with guns shoot themselves with these things. Okay. In the gun world, we have something called an ND, or a negligent discharge. That means you messed up, did something wrong, and basically fired this fucking thing when you didn't mean to do it. Right. All right. Well, I'm going to explain to you why that happens so much with, you know, law enforcement and people who are used to guns. And that's because, for one, obviously not a safety, which is not a big deal. I've been working with weapons without safeties my whole life, so I don't mind that. But here's the biggest thing. So most people don't realize, do you know how you take this gun down? Okay. Number one thing you do when you take this gun down. Now, again, we're going to show you. All right. We're clear empty chamber, right? Sorry, camera went out of focus there. Number one thing you do when you take this gun down, which I think is the stupidest freaking thing, and this is why you have so many people getting shot, okay, is this. To take this gun down, do you see these two little things here? Okay, there's a little pad there. There's a little pad right there. Okay, so to take this thing down, you have to push those down and rack the slide to the, you know, forward and take it off the weapon. However, there's something that you have to do before you do that, and that is, and if you don't double check 15 times, again, we're going to go ahead and double check, right? We're going to go ahead and triple check that we're clear. But if you don't check this, and it's a long day at the range, or it's a long day, whatever, and you forget to check that, guess what you have to do to take this gun down? You have to depress the trigger. Okay. Now, once you depress the trigger, you're going to go ahead, rack it back ever so slightly. You're going to pull down on those two tabs, and you're going to go ahead and have your gun disassembled. But you have to press that trigger in order to disassemble this weapon. And I'm going to tell you again, that is why lots of people have a hard time, and lots of people shoot themselves with this thing. Okay. And again, I'm going to tell you right now, just when I put it back together, it's not the most user friendly. I'm going to be honest. Just another reason why I'm not a huge fan. Now, you know, that's not something that you necessarily, you know, maybe that's not a concern of yours, right? Well, for me personally, I feel it is. Okay. I just do. That's my personal opinion. Okay. That's why a lot of people shoot themselves with those things. So the other thing that, you know, personally, what I would recommend is, quite honestly, I would recommend the VP9, which is something that is in the same category. Again, this thing, man, oh man. VP9 is in the same category as far as price wise. Okay. And it is also a striker fired pistol. Okay. Now, why do I like the VP9 better? Well, okay. I'm going to tell you why. okay? Because first of all, the VP9, the Glock has the, the little button release, right? It's got a little button release here. Now, that's great if you're going to bring it back into your workspace, go ahead, drop that mag, whatever, right? Well, one thing I like about the VP9, first of all, and a lot of people have said this before, they don't care for the European style release, right? So here you see there's what's called a paddle release, and it's ambidextrous. You can hit it with your thumb or you can hit it with your index finger, okay? I personally like that because, again, if you're sitting there and your rounds downrange, okay, you can drop that mag, keep that weapon pointed downrange at that bad guy, insert that mag, rack that weapon, and stay on target, okay? To me personally, that is a really good thing about the VP9. Again, it's something you do have to get used to, but if you get used to it, I think it's loads faster. That's my personal opinion. The other thing that I like about this weapon, again, is for the same price virtually of what you spend for a Glock. Now, they may have gone up by now because everyone's buying them, but for the same price, excuse me, as what you pay for a Glock. For one, this is a much better looking weapon. I mean, just look at this thing. This thing, is just a much better weapon. And for all you John Wick guys out there, he uses a P30L in the first movie, and that's basically another version of this, okay? So the VP9 is a good looking gun, in my opinion, okay? You got your serrations on there, your front, your rear, and all that stuff, okay? And again, same price tag. Now, the other thing, and again, this is a striker fired weapon, so there's no safety on this as well, okay? And it has this trigger safety, which is not a safety, but what I like is that trigger just, it's crisp. And it's a crisp reset, okay? It's just, the trigger is night and day difference better. And the other thing too is, with the Glocks, the grip angle, okay? The grip angle is really different. Now, if you've never fired another weapon in your life, maybe you get used to the grip angle very easily. However, for me, that grip angle just does not work, okay? It's not, you have to do a lot of things to get that weapon to put it where you need it to go. Now, have I gotten very accurate with the Glock? Yes, I have gotten accurate with the Glock, and I've gotten good with it, okay? But it takes a lot more work to get to that point. And for your first gun, I don't recommend that you should need that much work to get to that point. Whereas with this weapon, I can tell you right now, I can go ahead and, again, we'll show you clear. I can go ahead and, punch out and put rounds on target all day long. It does not have that weird grip angle. The other thing with this as well is that you do get the adjustable back straps and the side straps. So if you're somebody like me that has big fingers, long fingers, I feel you just get a much better purchase on this weapon personally. Okay. And the last thing we'll compare it to is going to be a 1911. If you're a gun person, I completely think you should own a 1911 45 ACP. In my opinion, this is one of the best guns ever made. Okay, it's been around since 1911, tried and true. There's a reason why they've used this throughout many wars and still employ it in a lot of units today. Okay, now this is a hammer fired weapon. So what's the difference, right? Striker fired weapon is, again, we say it's clear. Striker fired weapon is no hammer, right? Pull the trigger, thing goes bang, right? Hammer fired weapon. Hammered fired weapon is different. So hammered fired weapon, as you can see, and the 1911 does have the safety. It's got this little safety here on the side. Okay. Now, personally, if you're a person who knows how to shoot, then when you go to establish what's called the shooter's grip and you roll those thumbs forward as you should, your thumb is naturally going to go ahead and hit that safety down. Okay. It also does have the little safety back here, but here's the difference, right? So you see back here, we've got that hammer, right? So this is a hammer fired weapon. So what that means is right here, okay, single action, excuse me, only. So right here, you see this, we pull this trigger, nothing's going to happen, right? So what do we need to do? A, we need to cock the hammer back to fire the weapon, or B, we go ahead, we insert the mag, go ahead and rack it again. Show you again, it's clear. We go ahead and rack it, and when we rack it, that's going to ultimately drop that hammer for you, right? Now, this weapon is single action only, so it's ready to fire. Now, again, the nice thing about this, because people get scared with 1911s and single action weapons, right? Because they get scared about, do they carry it cocked and locked? Do you want to go ahead and rack that trigger back, or pull that hammer back, excuse me, before you go ahead and fire this weapon? Personally, I say carry it cocked and locked. I've heard people say that, oh, well, you know, you'll have time where you can go ahead and, you know, pull this out and draw that hammer back. I'm sorry. If you've watched cop movies before, you see in a lot of cop movies, they're always racking around in the chamber. That's retarded. Okay. There's no cop out there, I promise you, who doesn't have a loaded weapon, who doesn't have a chamber in the round. If they do that, officer would be basically out of policy. Okay. You're always going to have a round in the chamber. You're always going to be cocked and locked, ready to go. That's why on a weapon like this, you do have that safety there, right? So like I said, you have that safety on. This weapon is not going to go bang with that safety on. And when you go ahead and you pull this out, and you go to establish that shooter's grip, roll those thumbs forward, that finger, you know, you're on your shooting hand is going to automatically push down on that thing. Okay. So again, the whole reason I'm doing this is not to try to sell you on a 1911 or try to sell you on a VP9. And I'm not trying to tell you, you know, hey, if you want a Glock, go ahead and buy a Glock. I'm just saying for a lot of first-time gun owners, I don't think the Glock is the right choice for a lot of them. It's a, you know, it takes training to get efficient with it, much more training so than it does with a lot of other weapons that I fired. The grip angle is messed up. The trigger is crap. And the fact that you have to depress the trigger just to disassemble the weapon causes so many negligent discharges. It's insane. So for those reasons, that's why I say that for your first weapon, I do not recommend buying a Glock. If you want to buy something, again, that is just as reliable, and I'm not selling it. I'm not affiliated with any of these gun companies. I have no sponsors or nothing like that. I get paid no money from anybody for anything. Okay. This is my personal opinion. If you're going to go ahead and spend money for something like that, I would go ahead, spend the $600, buy yourself something like an HK VP9. HK is tried and true. It's been around for a long time. It's going to be around the same price range. And in my personal opinion, it's going to run just as reliable as a Glock and is going to probably be a much better firearm for you. But anyway, guys, again, that's my opinion. Let me know what you think. Get in the comment section below. Go ahead, beat me up, hit me for the 1911, the mag capacity, and how Glocks can carry 30-round mags and all that stuff. Go ahead, you know, let me know what you think. Again, this is just what my personal opinion is. So that's the video, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Stay safe, stay tactical, stay dangerous. Stay away from those Glocks. Just kidding, unless you like them. Everybody have a great day, all right? Thanks for watching.